Alrighty, guys. Welcome to the stream. This is day 2 of streaming, so I think I kind of understand this a little bit more. Um, except for the fact that my screen is not working. So, hold on. I don't know. Every time I get on here, it does this. So, it's like frozen right now. My YouTube screen is. So, let's see here what I gotta do. But today's video is the paradox of an infinite universe reaction video. Yesterday's live, I actually talked about this a little bit. Sorry, my allergies are a little bit rough right now, but here, let me let's see. No. Here we go. All right. Hold on, it's capturing the wrong screen now. Let's see here. And I will be opening up chat here in a second after I figure out how to work this OBS. I'll get really good at this soon, guys, I promise, once I do it enough. There we go. Put this back on my other monitor, and here we go. So, yeah, today's video is the paradox of an infinite universe. Let me pull up my chat real quick before I start this video so I can see what you guys are saying. It says something chat rate, so not 100% what that means, but let's see if I can figure it out. And let me make sure the audio is getting picked up.
Can't travel faster than light. That means that we can only see parts of the universe whose light has had time to reach us in the last 14 billion years. When we look outwards, what we...
Yep, all the audios are... I'm going to turn this down a little bit. And... details. You know, I don't know why OBS doesn't already pull up the chat, to be honest. Let's see here. Alrighty. Here we go. Let's see. Alrighty, I think I got my chat pulled up here. Alright, sounds good. So I'm going to go ahead and dive into this video here. Restart it. And also, since all these videos get published on my channel, I'm assuming that some of my normal viewers will see this. So just want to say that if you've been watching my YouTube videos, thank you for bearing with me as I'm doing different things. I know a lot of you guys like the gym and the cooking stuff, and I do plan on getting back to that. But what my plan is for this week, I wanted to just live stream. So pretty much I can just get comfortable with doing this. And then by next week, I might just do a little bit more live streaming. And I am also going to include shorts with daily updates as far as my physical growth progress. And then I will also throw in a few days where I'm doing a daily vlog or just a vlog in general, talking about my more personal stuff. But for right now, I just want to get comfortable using OBS, streaming, talking to a live chat, and things like that. And it's nice because it all saves and I can upload it to my regular viewers as you guys watch my videos. So yeah, just wanted to say that real quick before I get started on this video. Someone just tuned in, so this is the Paradox of an Infinite Universe. Let's go ahead and get started.
Is the universe infinite? Does it have an edge? And if so, what would you see if you went there? Today, we know that the universe had a beginning 14 billion years ago and that it's been expanding ever since. But something that's expanding should also have an edge, right? Well, it sort of does. Information can't travel faster than light. That means that we can only see parts of the universe whose light has had time to reach us in the last 14 billion years. When we look outwards, what we see is a sphere centered on us, the observable universe. But it gets a tad more complicated. Because the universe has been expanding, we know that the most faraway things whose light we can see are actually 45 billion light years from us.
It's funny because I was just talking in my yesterday live stream. We were going over some of the craziest philosophical theories, I think it was. And I was literally talking about how if you look up into space, it is infinite. And I was correlating it to time as well because, like, these are two things that just have been around forever. We just never had a word for them until a certain time. But literally go outside and step outside and you could see, look straight, and there is no end to this universe that we know of, at least. So it's kind of just a crazy thing to think about, like when you're outside looking at the stars. I just, like, or like that's, you know, when I'm outside at night or just in general, I just really... It's really something that just opens my eyes that's very simple yet super mind-blowing.
Right now. So the observable universe is a sphere with a radius of 45 billion light years. It contains around 200 billion galaxies, each with hundreds of billions of stars. So for us, there is an edge. We're looking at the past until there is just no past left. This edge is really more like an edge in time and, in a sense, meaningless. The real universe is for sure bigger than what we can see. But how much? There are two options. Either the universe is really big but finite, or it's truly infinite. A finite...
Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you think the universe is finite or infinite. I just don't see...
Big but finite, or...
I just don't see a reality in which this is the case. I don't know. Change my mind in the comments, but like this does not make any sense to me at all. I just don't understand how we could be boxed in at some point and why they would choose to do it so far away, 45 billion light years away, rather than, you know, if you're doing that, you might as well cut it off sooner. It doesn't make sense. If you ask me, I feel like it's infinite and there's literally just no end. Which is crazy to think about because, like, what do you mean there's no end? Like, it just never stops. That's also kind of just as crazy to think as well, actually. Is to think they're both very, very unrealistic, but I think it makes way more sense for there to be an infinite universe.
It's truly infinite. A finite universe means that if you want to fill it with ice cream, you can do it. You need a lot of ice cream, but it is a finite amount. But that leads to a weird problem. Such a universe should have an edge, a cosmic wall where space ends. And if there's an edge, there should be something outside that edge. But the universe by definition is all...
Yeah, that's another thing. that they like if the universe, let's say, ended, what does that even mean? What does that even mean? Because like let's say like exactly like this reference. Let's just say it's a block wall, like it's black, it's clear, but you cannot go past it. Even then, it keeps going. Like that's what it is. Just because we can't access it doesn't necessarily mean that there's nothing beyond that. Especially in terms of the universe. What if just the atoms are so dense that it makes it physically impossible for anything to go through there? And it's just some new element on the periodic table that we don't even know what it is, and it's just impossible to interact, interfere, pass, or get through with,
All there is. So how could there be stuff outside all there is? Does the idea of something outside of everything even make sense? Except, of course, there is a physics hack. You can have a universe that has no border, but that still could be filled with a finite amount of ice cream. What if the universe is truly finite? Imagine an orange and a really tiny ant. The ant can only see a small piece of the skin, just as you can only see a small chunk of the universe.
That's true, but I feel like there's just you can't correlate to that because we, unlike animals, have a consciousness to make decisions that are way more complex than just survival instincts and things like that, like animals. We have technology that can do things that animals could nowhere near even perceive at all. They can't even perceive decisions as far as like a career. They just do what they do throughout their life. So, yeah, I mean, we could be ants to this universe, but realistically, we are able to go so the amount an ant can't see is very small. But the amount that we can see isn't that small compared to what an ant can see when you're correlating it to like an ant to the earth for us to the universe. We can see so much more than what that ant can see just because of technology and evolution and we have the ability to think past that.
But if the ant starts walking, it will eventually walk around the whole orange and be back to its starting point. So the skin of an orange is not infinite, but it doesn't have a border. The universe is not like the skin of an orange, but it could be very similar. Instead of a sphere, it could be a hypersphere, where 3D space is curled on itself, which is impossible for your brain to visualize, unfortunately. But the point is, no borders, no outside of the hypersphere. From our human ant perspective, our whole 3D space is like the peel of the orange. If you were aboard a spaceship flying in a straight line, you would eventually come back to Earth. How does any of this make sense?
That okay. What? Have you guys not been able to see this whole time? Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. That isn't the craziest thing. By any means. I feel like you guys have been able to see this, right? Because, okay, I don't know if any of you guys watch any anime, but that's like a Genjutsu in Naruto where you literally just think that you're like going somewhere, but you're just walking in a whole entire circle. And that, so they would be saying that the universe is like a sphere around the earth, that if you travel straight forward out, you just end up in a circle around the universe back to earth. I mean that, but then how would, I mean, I guess you could just be talking on such a large scale of space, but you would, I don't know. I mean, I don't think that's true, but that could be true. If that makes sense. If that makes sense at all.
The actual physics is hard, so we have to simplify and lie a bit here. But in a nutshell, it all boils down to gravity. The way it works is that mass creates gravity by bending space-time. This bending is the strongest where the mass is, but sort of stretches on forever, like a very mild tension in the fabric of space-time itself. This could bend the whole universe in a way where it bends back on itself, which then makes the hypersphere. If you find this confusing, we're with you.
A lot of women struggle with getting adequate care. United Healthcare makes me feel supported
YouTube
and seen.
I didn't even think about this. You guys probably do not want to see ads.
If the universe happens to be a hypersphere, how could we find out how big it is? On Earth, we can see things disappear below the horizon, and that helps us calculate how big the Earth is. Scientists tried to find some sort of universe horizon that would reveal the scale of the cosmic sphere, but didn't see anything. Which means that if the universe is a hypersphere, it needs to be so big that from our perspective, it looks like we're living on a flat surface. For this to make sense, a hyperspherical universe should be at least 1,000 times bigger than our observable part. It could be 1 trillion times bigger for all we know, but not smaller than that. Some scientists thought all of this is way too straightforward and came up with a wilder option. The universe could be like the frosting of a donut. A hyperdonut, also impossible to visualize for your brain. This too means that if you travel in a straight line, you'd get back to where you started, but with fun complications. In a hyperdonut universe, there's not the same amount of stuff in every direction. If 2 spaceships fly in different directions, one could get back to the start way earlier. This also means that light from faraway galaxies would do fun and confusing stuff in a sort of cosmic Hall of Mirrors effect. We could see...
You know, that actually kind of does make sense too. You know, these are actually opening my eyes a lot to things that I did not think could be possible. I'm not gonna lie. That makes a lot of sense. Like, if you go one way in the universe, like, okay, let's say that the universe is what they're talking about as far as, like, just a, like, just the point to where, like, you'll come back to Earth no matter how far you go. But if you go in a certain direction, you can get back sooner than a different way. Like, that frosted donut, that actually kind of, like, this makes sense to me. But I just don't understand why the universe would be so limited to this. I mean, this is huge. This is huge, but I just don't see it being in this shape. I don't see the universe being in a shape. I see it being limitless and infinite. I'm pretty stuck on that, but these are opening my eyes to theories that I never would have taken into consideration before, ever. I will say, because this makes sense to me, and it does make sense how if we were to go out and come back, we could just end up right back at Earth. That makes sense to me. I'm not gonna lie. Kind of like a Genjutsu, like I was saying from Naruto.
If 2 spaceships fly in different directions, one could get back to the start way earlier. This also means that light from faraway galaxies would do fun and confusing stuff in a sort of cosmic Hall of Mirrors effect. We could see faraway things in 2 places, but not just that, we would see it in different moments in time, because its light would have taken much longer to travel in one direction than the other. You could see a star being born in front of you and see that same star die on the opposite side of the sky. How big would such a hyperdonut universe be? Well, because of its strange geometry...
See, that's what I mean. Like, this would just be so big.
Actually, this is kind of the smallest possible universe, potentially just a few times bigger than the observable universe. But it could also be...
This is the universe in which we perceive a huge real-world universe. That's what we see, and this is what they're talking about. If this donut theory thing would be
way bigger. We don't know. Okay, so much for finite universes.
They said 30 trillion.
But what if it's truly infinite and space goes on forever? What would that be like?
This is what I think.
What if the universe is truly infinite? Actually, the cosmological model used by most scientists describes an infinite universe. We mostly use it to calculate what happens inside our observable chunk, but if taken literally, it predicts an infinite universe. An infinite universe goes on, well, forever, with no border anywhere. Also impossible to visualize. Wherever you look, you'll find more and more stuff in every possible direction.
I do think a lot of women struggle with having adequate care. I found out
This kind of breaks our brain a bit for a few reasons. First of all, if the universe is infinite, is it also eternal and has been there forever?
Yes. That's what I think. I think yes to that question.
Was there a time when there was nothing everywhere, and then there was some?
I don't think that's true unless we're all living in a simulation created by some external species, or even maybe some fucking really crazy humans from a long time ago, and we're all just living in a simulation and they created it. But I don't even think at that case there would be nothing. I think that there would just have been like an overpowerful creator from somewhere else who created a universe from maybe nothing. But that doesn't mean that there was nothing in the whole entire universe originally.
Thing everywhere. Well, we don't know, but we have a lot of evidence for the Big Bang, so it really seems like the universe started at some point in the past.
Paradox of the infinite universe.
But wait, since the Big Bang, the universe has been expanding. How can an infinite thing?
They said since the Big Bang, the universe has been expanding, but like, how do you even know that? I'm not saying I'm doubting it, but I feel like that just is another way of saying that we're just discovering more of the universe. But I don't know, maybe it's expanding. I'm not really like a scientist to really know exactly. Let's see what they say.
That's everywhere become even bigger. Cosmic expansion just means that the distance between galaxies is growing with time.
The distance between galaxies is growing. How do you even measure? How do you even measure the distance between galaxies? Seriously. That doesn't... I don't know. I don't even know what that means.
Even an infinite space can become bigger. Welcome to the paradoxes
An infinite space can become bigger.
of infinity. Infinity gets much weirder though. As you travel with your spaceship in a straight line, you find new galaxies, stars and planets, new wonders, new weird stuff, probably new aliens and new life forms stranger than you could ever imagine. But after a long time, you might find the most special thing in the universe, yourself. An exact copy of you watching this video right.
If you're gonna talk about this, you could go over about a million what ifs, I feel like. Like, what if you see yourself? Yeah, because, I mean, you could get caught inside of a time loop where you literally are, like, seeing your future self or your past self. I mean, there's so many what ifs. There's so many what ifs that you could be moving so... They said that you could see a star be born and die in the same part of the universe or something. Like, you could run into somebody else. You could run into aliens. You could find a whole nother Earth with everything and everybody exactly copied as our Earth. You could find aliens. You could find any type of extraterrestrial species. I mean, if you're going to consider this part as like running into yourself, there are so many things that you could run into if you just, because you're literally bending all reality of time and time and space. So you literally, I feel like, are open to endless possibilities of what could happen if there's an infinite universe and you just travel straight.
Now, how can that be? Well, everything in existence is made of a finite amount of different particles, and a finite number of different particles can only be combined in a finite number of ways. That number may be so large that it feels like infinity to our brains, but it's not really. If you have finite options to build things, but infinite space that is full of things in all directions forever, then it makes sense that by pure chance, there will likely be repetition. Although, just because something is possible, doesn't mean it will actually happen. Maybe the universe goes on forever, but only the boring stuff repeats itself endlessly. Maybe there is really only one you.
See, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, there's just so many possibilities, and all of it could just be exactly as it seems. You know, nothing, there could be nothing crazy like he's saying. It could just be all boring. And that's the part of, like, really understanding multiple perceptions when it comes to these huge theoretical theories, and just understanding and thinking about things that we have no clue about.
But if the laws of physics are the same everywhere, then far, far away, gas could have given birth to stars and planets where primitive genetic information could emerge from chemistry, which might have ended up in cells and animals that evolved in really unlikely ways, and eventually apes that learn how to create online videos. It happened at least once, so the chance is not zero. Even if the chance of there being an exact copy of you watching this video right now is almost zero is still a huge number in an infinite universe. Unfortunately, you'll never meet, because almost zero still means the chance is incredibly small. Earth, as it exists right now, is so unlikely you'd have to travel incredibly far to find a second identical Earth. Some 10 to the 10 to the 29, a 1 followed by 100 octillion zeros, times the size.
That is so crazy. So if that that is actually so crazy, and I always talk and hear about how, like, I like to remind myself, like, how really lucky we are as humans to be put on this earth. Like, the chances of our parents meeting and our chance of our grandparents meeting and our great grandparents, and it goes in the higher and higher up you go, is how rare it would be for all the genetics to align, all those people to meet up perfectly in order for you to be born, is so low. And the chances of us finding another Earth, which means that there's not another habitable planet that we know of in whatever this huge ass number is right here, is just adds to the huge mind-boggling factor that it is just so rare for us to be alive, and just alive in general. I would say in this time period, but really just in general, like, it's just so rare to be alive. So if you needed any motivation, there you go.
It's of the observable universe, so far that it kind of means forever far away. Still, in a truly infinite universe, every combination of particles could reasonably not just occur only once.
And one thing that I always think about too is, like, just if you look at evolution, we came so far in such a short amount of time, and we're still learning so much stuff as we move forward, to where it's like, we don't even know really how far away it would be until we could figure out something like this, and if it's true, and like actually get like real life evidence and proof that this is possible and this is actually real. But I mean, think about all the things that we questioned and doubted 100 years ago that we have. I mean, if you were to go back 100 years ago and tell people that we have literal robots who do what we say, and technology to just walk around and talk to a crowd of people through a piece of camera, like, there's just, like, if you were to go through, none of this stuff would have been very, very predictable, and so we don't really know what the future's like. And I mean, we're in a time period where, like, the world's going to be around for a long time before anything very crazy happens. So, like, I mean, just looking forward as far as, like, 100 years, like, imagine, like, what's going to be going on in 100 years that we would have never predicted right now, and all the crazy things that we'll be seeing and understanding and realizing and finding out. Something of this sort could be possible.
But an infinite number of times. It's time to stop now.
Walking is everything to me. Hip surgery became unavoidable.
Deborah and I, we just connected. She found
infinite universe.
While these scenarios are possible on paper, we've entered science philosophy here. Currently, none of these ideas are testable or provable. If the universe is infinite, we will never know. The reality is, for us,
that's also another interesting thing, is we would never know if the universe is infinite, because we, like, you can keep going, but we'll never know if there's an end, if it's an infinite universe. It could just be so far away that we will never reach it. That's a crazy thought I never even came to think about, to be honest.
The universe is finite and has an edge. And we can see the edge in time. Everything we can interact with is within the observable universe, and most likely, this will stay true forever. Even if this finite universe feels small to you, it's more than big enough to fulfill all the dreams that we and our descendants can ever come up with. Infinitely enough for all of us. While we can't be sure whether the universe is infinite, many fascinating questions do have definitive answers in science, maths, and technology, and you can learn all about them on Brilliant.org. Brilliant will make you a better thinker and problem solver, with thousands of hands-on lessons on just about anything you may be curious about. They recently launched a whole new suite of data courses that use real data to tell powerful stories while...
Alrighty, guys. Well, that was the paradox of an infinite universe. Yeah, I think that was a good video. It went over some things that I really would have never considered. These are the kind of videos I'm going to be doing on my live, is these reaction videos to cool philosophical and quantum physics, interesting theories, anything that is going to be kind of like what I'm going to be making my live streams about. And if you're watching here and you're new, I've been creating daily vlogs of more about physical fitness and personal growth, and now I'm kind of reverting into this because I really enjoy a lot of these theories and talking about them. So I want to go live a lot more, and then I will record the video and go ahead and publish it on YouTube, so it's there for anybody to watch as well. But I will also be trying to throw in some videos there on personal growth. If you've been watching, I do plan on doing that as well. So thank you guys for watching during this live stream. I had one viewer the whole time. I got some more viewers towards the end. Thank you guys. I appreciate you tuning in, and I will be going live again soon. I'm going to try to go live tomorrow if I have enough time, but if not, I'll be uploading videos consistently just to stay in touch. So if you want to keep up with my channel and the things that I post, like, subscribe to the channel, and keep them notifications on so you can get tuned in anytime I go live and do one of these cool videos. If not, it'll all be up on my channel so you can kind of watch it whenever you want. So thank you guys for watching. Oh, I just got another viewer. Just want to go ahead and do a quick summary real quick. Again, this is my channel where I do reactions to the paradox of an infinite universe. I save all these videos to my channel so you can watch them. I post videos about personal growth, physical fitness, and all kinds of things like that. So thank you guys for watching. This video will be published, so for whoever just joined in, you can kind of go to my channel and check it out. Thanks.